Hello, today is the 22nd April. So we're having a microprofile technical discussion today. Let me please help out with the minutes and also add your name to the minutes. Let me share my screen, share. Yeah, as Reza mentioned earlier, it might be take time to load this page. I think yeah, somehow it's really slow. Don't know why. So basically as a follow-up from last time live hangout, this as requested by Toran. So this is a tutorial UI was created, and I have not seen any PRs created by Toran yet. So I saw he joined last week's live hangout, so maybe he's working on the tutorials. So I will follow up with him to see whether he needs anything else. Also, I think he's asking for the reviews for the 2 remaining chapters for the MicroProfile tutorial. So if I have time today, we'll do some review. So it's so this is draft. So basically it's a REST client and JWT need to be reviewed. I will also tag people in these 2 specs, ask them to review. Yeah, please help out if you have any any time and etc. and then provide your feedback on this, especially these 2 chapters. So with this, it's pretty much we'll finish the tutorial. The other thing is MicroProfile 7. So Roberto, I also Nathan talked to me, also John talked to me regarding the kind of the open API and also telemetry. The basically both RCs are in Maven Central. Are you saying you cannot find them in Maven Central?
I can use those ones, but for release we need the finals.
Oh no, we will not push the final to the basically to the Maven Central because that need to be voted and etc. So for the final TCK jazz, you can get it from a Sonatype. So but
No,
that
what I'm saying is I'm fine if we validate or if we make some tests with the RCs, right? But
yes.
I cannot release Quarkus with RCs, and I cannot release Quarkus with what we have done in the past, which is like well, referencing a staging repo, right? So um,
Are you,
I'm definitely going to need the finals to be able to release Quarkus. I mean,
so
we can release like small rye like that, but not Quarkus.
so are you saying you cannot release Quarkus with RCs?
No,
In this case, probably using Quarkus won't help because we need to get a release. Use this basically the RC, either RC or the
I know, yeah, I know what the problem is. I mean, I've been talking about this problem for a long time because this is not the proper way to do releases about something, right? I mean, expecting something like as big as Quarkus or any other application server, so I have no idea how we had done it on Liberty. But having like to release a version with RCs, and to be able to release finals from the API jars, to then again release the new product referencing the API jars, which final is just like a mess, right? It's just like a plethora of releases, just to update the version without any meaningful changes to the final product, right? And that just creates confusion for the users, right? Um, I did discuss this a lot of times because I really don't think this is the proper way to release those jars. I haven't really seen any other library. I mean, I know that these are just is specifications, but I haven't seen any other project doing things like this, right? Um, so I'm happy to do that with small Y, and when we did it on small Y, it was just like a lot of extra work to just go through that process for no really benefit to the end user, right? But for Quarkus, it's just like a huge amount of work for really no benefit, right? So if we want to do like CCRs for single implementations for OpenAPI and telemetry, we can do that for small Y. But if we want to make it as for the entire platform, then I'm gonna need the finals to do that on Quarkus, right? And again, also on the community side on Quarkus, they will never allow me to put RCs. They will never accept the PRs to put RCs on as a dependency to Quarkus.
Okay, sounds like is a no-go for using Quarkus for for the overall umbrella release. We won't be able to push that to Maven Central, the final jar, to Maven Central before the voting, before the successful ballot. I
That's fine. I mean,
uh-huh.
do the ballot and then I'll update, right? But I cannot do that before.
Yeah, but the thing is, before you can have the compatible implementation, you won't be able to do the ballot. So that's the
Yeah,
kind
I
of
mean, again, that's the real issue, right? Because what
Well,
what what what
Roberto,
what we what we're asking here with this process, and again, I discussed this many times, is that you have like a chicken and egg problem here, right? So you need
not
like
necessarily, not necessarily. So probably that's Quarkus policy not to use the RCs and etc. I can tell you what happened to Open Liberty and what happened to like a Jakarta EE, like the Payara, no Payara's glassbit. So for Liberty, we can release big the beta with kind of the RCs and etc. But that's not for GA. So that's why we have been using Liberty. We checked in the RC, like the jazz, and then also we can run the basically check in the spec and APIs into Liberty. So daily driver and beta driver, and then it's doing a release. And then when we finish basically getting hold of the driver, we can even run the final stage, the TCK, against the beta driver and prove with the kind of all the TCK pass and etc. From what you said, is Quarkus won't be the compatible implementation for releasing MicroProfile 7.1. In this case, we'll continue to use the Open Liberty. So Open Liberty has been making good progress with this. And I will follow up. I think it should be okay. With also
okay.
got we got basically I'm trying to get the beta out ASAP. So also I think Open API will be fine. Also because it's bank holiday in the UK this week. I was also on vacation, and also we discuss the micro telemetry. I saw a couple some comments being discussed, and this week's call, and then next week we will decide. Monday next week we'll decide whether we need to make a more kind of update for MicroProfile telemetry. If no, and then we can keep the current schedule. If we need to do kind of the further update, and then in that case we have to we will have to delay the MicroProfile 7.1 hopefully by yeah, a couple weeks, or maybe it's kind of a couple weeks. Okay, so with that, so for CCR, comment it out. Podcast won't be one and provide use. Okay. Okay. Yes, it is. Okay. So, okay, so that's kind of for MicroProfile 7.1 discussion. Are there any comments? Further comments or questions? Okay, if not, so basically in the last hangout, I went through the proposal in the basically repo moves and etc. So if you haven't got a chance to look at this, please uh, yeah, review this and also directly comment on this proposal. And also John is on the road traveling today. And I was on vacation last week, so we haven't met up to sync up as yet. So it's kind of this is basically for, give us more time to discuss further on this, and then next week, early next week, Monday next week, Joe and I will get together to look at all the kind of the plans again. Comments? Okay, so the next item is the MPAI discussion. So basically is the kind of the currently the team is basically trying to work on to move the content from small red dash LLM to launching 4G dash MicroProfile dash Jakarta. So we discussed today, Yan. So you propose basically trying to add more tests to this one, right? Or test it out to the current branch.
Oh no, the last, I didn't join today, but last week we discussed the move will be postponed until the discussion about the move of a microprofile into Jakarta is done, because they don't want to change the name of the repo again with new Maven coordinates. So the decision last week was to keep on working on the small LLM repo as long as the things are clear where to move and how the repo should be named, because it's affecting not only the repo itself, it also affecting the Maven coordinates and the package name.
Okay, so yeah, we discussed that. So basically, at today's call, I said that the move will take time. I don't think it will happen. I mean, shortly. So I advise the team to basically to continue the move, and then we can change that when the time comes. And
Yeah, we decided last week the opposite. We said not to move because it creates a breaking change otherwise. And the people attending the last week's meeting said, yeah, we definitely want to prevent that, and we can still continue contributing to smaller LLM as the things are clearer in that area.
yeah, you can listen to today's recording. So it's
yeah, but Emily, that doesn't make sense if the people are changing every week the direction. Then it does not make sense to me, and it's waste of time.
yeah, I think it's
and we had that in the minutes from the last meeting.
Anyway, that's kind of the nobody we discussed that nobody kind of said no, and most people were on last week call. But anyway, so in today's call is not about this MPAI. So this is just like a continued discussion over there. The one other thing is kind of we're trying to work out a new meeting time. So again, the people complain about the current meeting time and etc. So
that's not fitting to me too.
Yeah. So anyway, so there's I put in the minutes regarding like the some new doodles for people to vote. So I understand it's difficult to find any kind of good time slot for everybody to be able to join. So yeah, so that's unfortunate, but that's a fact. Anyway, so that's a kind of short update on the MPAI. So when I came back and basically we rebranded or reworded the host MP in Jakarta onto a new name, MicroProfile Jakarta E, surviving failure with high availability. So this discussion. So it's kind of the I kind of checked the minutes on the MicroProfile live hangout. It's pretty much discuss about core space of profile and also the not course-based profile, micro-space profile or macro profile as a one word. So I think is I can see both the picture. At least at first, I proposed a macro space profile, but I think is in order to retain the macro profile brand, I think it's probably it makes more sense to be called a macro profile. I don't know whether will this be able to get a web profile, core profile into without space like there. But anyway, so this is kind of there's a kind of some thought people should have, and then it's kind of discuss further. I do not know, are there any other kind of comments and feedback in addition to has been discussed in the past, or any other existing topic people want to bring up and rediscuss?
Emily, so I hesitate to say this, but I mean, I feel I probably should. In some of these discussions, it's important to bear in mind, and I'll be honest with you, this is coming a little bit from like sort of input that I've received personally at Microsoft, both from and from the community, right? So while having these discussions, and I'll admit, I struggle with this, right? It's important that we try to look at things as with technology focus, and also bearing in mind there's a lot of people looking at us when we're having these discussions. So for me, for example, like if I was somebody on the outside looking at this and I saw something like words like surviving failure with high availability and so on, I really would be wondering, how constructively we're seeing any of this, right? So, if we ourselves like cannot sort of manage the optics of this from the outside, it really can come back to bite us. We can either do this discussion in a constructive way that puts things in a positive light, or we can do this in a way that doesn't put anybody in a positive light, right? So, I hope I'm making sense here.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't involved in this rename. Anybody else want to add kind of some context for the new thing?
Nothing prevents us from changing the topic name to something more meaningful.
To me, hosting MicroProfile in Jakarta was more neutral and factual, and honestly less makes somebody like basically raise their eyebrow as to what this is about.
Yeah, I think this is kind of self-explanatory. I agree with you, rather. This is a self-explanatory hosting MicroProfile in Jakarta. This is less surviving failure with high availability. I don't know what that's kind of the convince.
Yeah, where that came from. Google Groups discussion?
So this is kind of in the email, Johnson. Maybe it's I don't know. It's just abstract subject. I don't know. Was this discussed anywhere, or the kind of, yeah. If you look at your email, John renamed it, and maybe it's trying to convene kind of the different message. So I will sync up with John in the back. So we can easily check in the MicroProfile Live Hangout. I didn't see it mentioned
Yeah, last week we discussed he wants to forward the thread from the Google Groups to the mailing list.
Yeah.
And maybe we give it 2 tries to do that. And for the second one, he renamed it. Or there are 2 separate threads, I don't know. But that means the content of the Google Groups discussion is not on the MicroProfile mailing list. So only some links are added. And that's sad because in the past we had lots of information on the Google Groups. At the end, when we came to the point where we need to vote, then that discussion need to be taking place on the mailing list of the MicroProfile working group.
I mean, from an observer standpoint, Emily, I mean, people understand that other people have emotions, but at the same token, if you are somebody that is just on the sidelines or a customer, you know, it's a bad thing if they begin to wonder if the people involved in these conversations really are looking at things from an objective technical standpoint or purely from an emotional standpoint, right? I don't know how much more direct I can be, but okay, I'm going to stop on this. I believe I made my point.
Okay, yeah, that's yes, sounds good. And hopefully it's nothing kind of a major. Maybe it's just change the subject, but kind of exactly.
But there were 2 forwarded mails. The first one was host MicroProfile in Jakarta EE links, and the second one was surviving failure with high availability. So we can just rename it to the first one, host MicroProfile in Jakarta EE. That's neutral.
Yeah, okay. When he's back, we'll ask him. And yeah, you're right. It's not not discussed here. Maybe it's just trying to create some different subject title. If people feel kind of strongly about host and MicroProfile in Jakarta, maybe they can go back. We'll see. We'll discuss with John and find out some more context. We can explain. So I looked at basically last week's kind of the discussion is pretty much kind of the talking about the fees. Not
There's one point I forgot regarding the discussion of the fees for the JACs. I don't know the details about the organizational structure of a JAC, but they might be differently affected. Because iJAC, for example, it has no employees. And there's only a board of 3 elected members volunteering in that role. But AJAC, I don't know how they are organized. That need to be checked because then they might be affected by a raise of their fees when it is moved.
the thing is
because they are organizing a big conference, and I don't know if they have a separate organization for that, or they do it as a non-profit organization. I don't know, but yeah, the AJAC people should check if in which category they might fall on the Jakarta side if they want to join there.
Yeah, actually, it's in today's Jakarta EE steering committee call, we think is kind of the in Jakarta EE is pretty much basically JAX probably will join as a participant member rather than kind of strategic member and etc. because that costs a lot of money. I don't think so it's the kind of it's a zero fee for the joining as a participant member. However,
but only if you are falling also in the category regarding the number of employees. Usually JACs don't have employees, but in the case of AJAC, that might be different. So IJAC, for example, is a participant member in Jakarta EE, and that's for free. And the original way to join as a member for JAC without voting rights was joining as a guest member. So that's possible too.
So it's for Jakarta EE, like if you join as basically as a participant member, that's open to JACs. So JACs can join. So
yeah, that was changed because as we want to join, we want to get voting rights and not join as a guest only. And then they changed it for the London community and IJAC.
Yeah, so here is kind of you can compete for the basically rep for the participant group, and for other groups it's pretty much really very hard. I don't think the JACs will want to spend 25K for the kind of strategic.
The categories have changed in the past. That was not only corporate revenue, it was also a category of how many employees you have. So that part with the employees got dropped, it looks like, new version.
Yeah, so here we're basically discuss this too. Not mentioning the basically make this sync up. Currently is 1, 2, 3, 4. This one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is this one shorter is one row. So so it's kind of the for JAG is pretty much here going to here. Yeah. So that's pretty much. So are there any other topic to be discussed? So also is kind of the meaningless conversation. I don't think there's any new discussion since the last week. So in this case, if there's no more discussion happening kind of this week, I think it's Monday next week. So I know I will meet up and to see the next step.
Yeah, but can somebody summarize what was the discussion in the Google groups?
The Google
because there are only links delivered in these mails.
Maybe it's, is there a list of here are the things that are currently in debate? Because it seems like a lot of at least the subjects say, yeah, that's a good idea.
There's some comment is saying good idea, and also some comments basically complain about the fees. So I'm here. Basically, I think at the moment David and Michael kind of the discussing this regarding these fees. Is I think it's that's pretty much.
So, but there's no summary document that sort of tries to abstract all this and say, here's the current list of points of contention.
Yeah, that's a very good comment you made, Ed. So actually before I went on vacation, I think John and I discussed, we create a kind of a Google Doc to list, I mean, basically it's kind of similar to other proposals, list all the or update and with all the content pros. So I will start that doc this week. Lift all the kind of I will re-review all these discussions and trying to list some cons and pros. And then basically summarize that on the top of the Google Doc. We can share next week. I think now probably is a good time. Since all the discussion quite done, I didn't see any further comment to be made apart from the John's sync up these two discussion. I don't see anything else. So yeah.
Are the recordings from the last two meetings we've had available? I missed them both, and be nice to play them back.
Oh, okay. So that's fine. So next week we'll sync up. So I reviewed basically looks like these two. Today I just came back from vacation. So I had a quick look at these two thread. I do not see there's a new things, new concerns or something brought up in this pretty much these two thread. So I will try to summarize them and then it's kind of we can go through next week so that everybody on the same page. So hopefully, and then we reconsolidate. And also, when John and I will meet up, we see whether we could create a straw man kind of proposal or something. If we can, we will share in the next week's call. I will do some homework this week, and then it's at least we can basically on the same page, and if we can we can basically put something concrete forward to work out the next step, because also people need to figure out what's the basically is a red line when you're trying to do the vote. I mean, for host MicroProfile in Jakarta EE, so the other kind of thing is how detail is detail. Is the one thing is kind of the obviously you want to mention the red line, like in the proposal. There's anything you can live with, probably don't need to be in the proposal. Like for example, just saying, move host MicroProfile in Jakarta, in Jakarta. So with a condition, so basically release MicroProfile spec under Jakarta brand or something like that. So basically, it's just need to come up with kind of list and etc. So that people, when people vote, they know what is their vote against.
Yeah, I think in our proposal here, we need to focus on the things that are in our scope. So what might be reasons to keep a separate working group and vote on keeping it separate or joining it. And then some of the details like changing the namespace and things like that, we can only make some suggestions, because if we donate all the stuff to Jakarta, they decide how to handle it. So that need to be at minimum negotiate it. Maybe we can do a suggestion how we would like to have it living inside Jakarta, but that decision is made inside Jakarta. And as I mentioned last week in the meeting, I discussed with Eva on that Javaland speakers dinner before I talked with you, Emily, how to formally push this forward if we decide to merge them here, is to do an official request on that topic to the Jakarta Steering Committee. And then the discussion is starting there.
Yeah. So basically, we we need to make a start in MicroProfile, your proposal, and then also Jakarta will also need to make a the ballot as well to see how they want to proceed with this. And then if they disagree, maybe it's back to the drawing board. So that's why I said this is a kind of lengthy process. So it's it will take some time. Okay, so I have some to-dos, and then it's we'll hopefully we have more things to discuss next week. And then it's we can go from there. And next week, hopefully we will just have something, have a short list, etc. And then it's work towards a proposal. Yeah. Okay. Any other comments or concerns? Okay, if not, you have 14 minutes back. Thank you all, and talk to you next week. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.